there was some documentary I was watching about a guy who has just been paying this webcam girl. And if you know what it is, you can tweet me or whatever, DM me. I forget what it was, but he was paying her for like years, a lot of money. And then she went and spent a weekend with him, and it was fucking weird for both of them. Right. She was like, this is weird, and I don't, because they were so used to that digital relationship. She even, I think, maybe wanted to try to give it a go.
Well, he's like, how's school going? Oh, my professor is like, well, right. He probably like, I went to college and this and that, and they had something in common, maybe.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like, and it's just like, yeah, but that's different than like, I mean, look, you go on Tinder, you go on, I don't know, is there a gay Tinder or is it just Grindr?
There's all kinds of different things.
Point is, you go on these dating apps and like, you strike up a rapport, but like a fraction of those actually work well in the date. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. It's much easier. The barrier to entry is so much lower when you're just online.
Right.
And the idea that something could work. And then when you're with somebody and you're in their physical presence, it's much harder, especially for a prolonged period of time.
Yeah.
It's one thing. A weekend is a long period of time.
Oh, that's insane. That's absurd.
Right. So it's like you could go out to dinner, get hammered, but a fucking weekend.
He should have played it like, hey, I'm going to be in town for the weekend. Maybe we'll get dinner. Not, let's go have a weekend together. And I'm saying, like, bye. But like, see if you can get something going. But the pressure for a weekend, that's crazy.
Yeah, but that's interesting.
I had a girl, like effectively do that after like a first date, but then she got mad because I wouldn't buy her groceries.
When was this?
Years ago. It was like, but basically I think she was trying to like, I don't think she had a good living situation.
I'm certain she didn't.
And I think I
would imagine she had a very sad living situation.
She was sleeping in my bed with me.
Yeah,
but she didn't want to have sex yet.
Okay.
She said she was on her period, which is all right. But eventually she let me jerk off like next to her.
And this was one night?
Well, it was like a night. It turned into a few nights.
Oh, so she just really wanted a place to stay.
I think so.
And the furthest you got was jerking off next to her.
Yeah.
Well, that's romantic. And how was she, when you were jerking off next to her, was she laying down? Was she facing?
She was laying down next to me.
Was she looking at you?
She was like she was engaged.
Okay. Was she fully clothed?
No, she had her top off.
Okay.
And
but no touching.
I could touch. I could lick her tits.
Okay.
I mean,
sure.
that was fair game.
This was what, night 3? She lived there for 6 months?
No, I ended it quick because she was a liar. And
hold the phone.
Yeah.
This woman was being dishonest, Raymond.
She had a very dishonest vibe.
She looked at you and she said, I'm going to get over on him.
Right. And I felt that right away.
Yeah.
It felt sketchy right away. And it was kind of thing, it was like,
how does it feel sketchy right away? How do you meet her on Tinder?
I think we met on Tinder and she's like, we were having a rapport back and forth. We actually got dirty right away. I think she must have initiated because I wasn't the guy to go, hey, you want to see my dick?
Right.
But, we were sending dick pics and stuff back and forth. And then she's like, I think it was at school at the time or whatever. We basically met up at Applebee's. And, I guess we were striking. It wasn't the best date, but she's like, you want to go watch a movie at your place? And I'm like, sure, which is odd. I mean, for on a first date, which was like we met for like half price apps kind of thing. It wasn't like we didn't have like a 2.5 hour. And
she was wowed by the half price apps,
right? I'm saying
and she initiated the movie at your place.
I knew it was like this seems quick,
right?
So I was like, but this is the time when I was running. And I was, 5 miles a day, and I was like in better shape. So, maybe she just wants some pipe.
Right.
Maybe not. I mean, I could fuck. I still can fuck. But I'm saying, like, I was, it's possible. I'm not a bad looking guy in that moment.
Yeah.
And, but it raised a flag. And then we get back to my place. We watched, I think, that Joan Rivers doc.
That piece of work. The comedy doc.
Yeah. And then we ended up, she slept over.
I love that her wanting to go to your home is a red flag. Well, like that raised a flag.
Well, it's just very quick. It wasn't like we.
Right.
Here's the thing. Usually, in my experience, maybe if you have a great jawline and a great body, it's a little more quick. But it's like you're hanging out, you're building rapport. Usually we're drinking, but not like no one's getting super drunk. We're drinking, and you kind of
right.
And usually a few hours goes by.
You're hanging out. A van pulls up. You got a few people in there. You put her in there. It's a practical joke. You explain to her that it's a joke. Everything that's happening is a joke, and that she's going to be okay. And it's okay. And you just say, these are your friends, and they help you move, and you got a moving business on the side. And then you put her in the van, and then you explain to her that it's for her own good that you've restrained her, because people could get hysterical, and she could hurt herself. You just don't want her to hurt herself. So I understand that your usual process, notwithstanding,
it usually is a little more of like,
it's a tug of war, literally.
Tug of war. No, it's just you're having a good time. You're vibing.
I get it. I understand.
And there really wasn't that much vibing.
When I talk to somebody online and they're too eager, I'm like, oh, you're just trying to you want me to send you my bank account info.
Right. And so, exactly, yeah. So, but she ended up like crashing on my bed, and we I think I spooned her. She probably took her top off, whatever. We didn't fuck. That's fine. Like, whatever. I mean, it was quick anyway. It was soon anyway.
Right.
And then I think she left in the morning, and then she, like, the next day, supposedly went to school or work or whatever. She was like, oh, you want to hang out? I was like, all right. And she came over to my place, and she was like, oh, you want to just, like, I don't have anything to eat. Like, you want to go to we can go to the supermarket. I'm like, all right. So, we start picking a few things up to make, salad. And then she, at one point, grabbed this really expensive. It was a weird
salad.
Well, I think she wanted a salad.
Okay.
But, she bought she was buying this really expensive, dressing.
Okay.
This, yogurt-based dressing.
Ooh.
And she's, picking certain things out.
That's when you said, that's when you knew.
Well, at that point, we got to the checkout, and I basically, I forget exactly how I signaled it, but I was like, she's like, oh, separate? Yeah, separate. Yeah. And she...
Wow.
Yeah. Because I could see, she was like, she thought I was going to buy everything, and she's just picking out her groceries.
This is a real moment in this relationship.
Right.
You are walking around a grocery store with her. Yeah. And this is where is this?
Would have been Holbrook area.
So you're, is it Stop and Shop? Or?
I think it's a Stop and Shop, yeah.
So you're at Stop and Shop with her.
Yeah.
She starts padding the wagon.
Yeah.
With high-end items.
Right.
And then now there's no discussion as to who will pay.
Right.
And
but it seems
does it seem like it's for more than just one night?
It seems like she's going to take this home. In my head, is she going to take this shit home with her?
But was it more would it have just been for one night?
Look, maybe. I wasn't making a ton of money back then. So now,
you were being really careful.
I was being careful because it just seemed like a weird move. It seemed odd.
Let me explain.
Yeah.
When you're at the cash register and you say separate, how do you decide who's buying what? Because you have one.
Well, I think I picked out certain things.
That's
the thing. She didn't go, hey, this would be really good. You want to get this? It'd be like, she started picking things out.
Right.
And didn't discuss it. And I was
this is day two.
Yeah. And I think I was saying, I can make this. I can make whatever it would be. I forget what I was cooking at the time. Maybe it was quesadillas or something. I don't know. I was good at making
chili rellena. I mean, this is your famous thing is chili rellenos.
Yeah.
You tell everybody.
I make chili rellenos. It's really good.
Deviled eggs and chili rellenos. These are your two things.
I'm like a little bit of a chef. So, so basically all these weird things that she was picking out and carrying, I let her buy.
So now when you say separate.
Oh, the vibe. You can see it.
What is doing?
She didn't play her hand.
Now she goes cold.
You could see it went a little cold. But that's not what ruined it. I mean, that might have been the seed that ruined this.
Interesting.
But that didn't.
Now what ruins it?
So days go by. Look, I take her to IHOP the next morning. And we both get omelets, right? And then she orders crepes on the side. Now, again, I wasn't making a lot of money at the time.
Now, let me ask you a question. You're ordering an omelet at IHOP because you're doing a high protein thing. You and her don't decide to split pancakes.
It wasn't just we both got our meals.
Okay.
And then she goes, I want to get a crepes on the side. I'm like, okay, that's fine. It was more to me. It's more like, it was racking up the price. But I didn't say that.
Right.
It's kind of like, it's fine. Look, she's cute.
What are crepes? $3?
Like $7 or $8. And here's
$7 or $8.
Here's the thing. I'm not gonna begrudge it to her. I'd rather we don't rack up all these bills, but whatever. I'm not.
All these bills. 3 days in.
I'm just
yogurt-based salad dressing, crepes.
I'm just saying. Here's the thing. She doesn't need them.
She doesn't need them.
Eat the crepes. She eats maybe half her omelet at most.
Right.
She may take one bite of the crepes.
What does she look like? What does this woman look like?
It's just a thin woman.
She's thin.
A thin blonde woman, attractive.
A thin.
A little older, probably getting into her mid-30s and used to be hotter and now
she's a thin blonde woman and she's in her mid-30s.
Yeah.
And Does she look worn?
No,
All
she wasn't super warm, but she was, but it was on the good side of almost worn.
Right. She'd seen some maybe late nights.
Well, she claimed she used to run a fashion line in the Hamptons.
Yeah, there's a lot of people make a lot of claims.
Exactly.
There's a lot of.
Well, no,
claims.
everything's suspect. Everything like so
everything's.
My point is, so look, she orders crepes, doesn't even eat them, and it's like, oh, what is that? Like that. It's like there was a certain
level.
She has
none of them. She doesn't even have a forkful.
She might have one forkful, maybe.
Okay.
And to me, it just screamed like, I want to see if you'll spend money.
She's trying to see what kind of man you are at the IHOP.
I guess so. She's trying to judge me by how much crepes.
And how do you handle the situation?
I didn't say anything. I let it go. But it's like, it's in the head. It's in my head there. Okay. And then then we go to Starbucks and she gets her coffee and we go and whatever. And
so you paid the bill at IHOP.
Paid the bill. And then we come back to my place. She leaves for the night. I think it was like a Thursday or a Friday. We make plans. I had a photography shoot in Huntington, somewhere in like up north in Long Island. That Saturday we were supposed to hang out. And we were supposed to hang out Sunday. That's our plan. We're gonna hang out Sunday because I'm busy on Saturday. So it's probably a Friday, last hour. And so I guess she'd been texting me because we talked about this before. North Shore, Long Island, we went there. There's no cell signal. You can't get a fucking cell signal.
Not for us. Not for Sprint.
No, not for slaves like us. Slavs. Right. I meant. So I'm out there. I'm shooting like whatever a sweet 16 or whatever the fuck, a wedding. And I guess she'd be like, I basically when I get out of there, I get all these voicemails from her, like just cursing at me, calling me a fucking piece of shit for not like we made plans. And I have to call her back, like, babe, not babe, whatever it was, the sweetie pie. Sweetie pie. It's all good. We're going to be fine. I was just like, I had no reception, but it's kind of aggressive. She's kind of an aggressive person. We end up going to a Greek restaurant that I like on Sunday. And she starts ordering zucchini fries and not eating them again. And telling me about this business she used to run.
And that's when you broke her nose.
I mean, that's when I got into the thing of like,
what'd you say?
I called her out.
You got her.
I started like second guessing the business stuff. Like, how did this fall apart? What happened?
Oh, because she pushed with the zucchini fries and you decided to call her out for being a fraud.
Yeah. And then she wanted to go to laser tag, I think. And
how old was she?
36.
And she wanted to go to laser tag?
Yeah. Okay. She wanted, at one point I was like, why do we have to go out?
Long Island should sink.
Yeah. Because she kept saying, look, I want someone to date me. And like, what does that mean? Like, we have to do things, activities. And so, so she starts, we have a big, screaming match in the car because I was basically calling her out. I started calling her out about her, how I think you're a fraudulent fashion designer. I don't think you had a business. And you ordered these fries.
Now, what is she firing back at you?
She's saying, you fat piece of shit. You lie, this and that. You cheap fuck. Like, why are you ordering these zucchini fries? Why are you ordering these fucking, these crepes?
This is like you've been married for 10 years and it's day 3.
Yeah.
What a hell.
And I didn't come see you because I wanted zucchini fries. Like, why'd you order them? Like, yeah, I'm not made of money.
Right.
And, so basically we got back to my place and she left. And she sat in front of my house for like 2 hours. And I came at one point, like, what are you doing? You have to leave.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm on the phone with my mother. I'm like crying. And I'm like, all right. And then...
Do you think she told her mother she thought you were the one? She thought you were a good man?
I mean, I'll be honest.
Do you think like she got on the phone with her mother and she was like, Mommy, I've met a boy. I've met a man named Raymond. And then she had to call her mother up crying and go, he wouldn't let me eat zucchini fries. And
she was telling me how she fucking like, I left this up, but like she'd been telling me the whole time how like her living situation was kind of weird. She was staying in some room and she was going back to school at Suffolk or whatever the fuck.
Right.
And like the landlord was shitty and like, it felt like a scam. In hindsight, it's like, maybe I was, as I'm saying it, like maybe I was being a little cheap.
Right.
Maybe being a little bit skinful. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think the vibe was,
you gotta protect yourself.
I don't like being, like, I'd rather not get laid than be used.
If you need, go get a potato and put a Marlboro Light in its mouth and watch that and then press play on your phone.